All right, Mr. Elijah.
What you want to do?
How did you get into basic talk? How did you get into comics, and what are you reading right now?
I'm sorry. How I get in comics and what?
What are you reading right now?
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you the story of how I got into comics. The way I got into comics was in 1989, the original Batman movie. Going to see it at the drive-in with my mother. That one, after the first Batman movie, I was hooked. That's how I got into comics. I'm not reading anything right now. I'm really more about waiting for the next MCU movie. I can't wait for the next Thor movie. Loved the Doctor Strange. I was feeling that. I keep up with the Disney Plus shows. I need to catch up on Miss Marvel. Also into Star Wars, so I just finished watching Obi-Wan. So that was, it was okay.
All right, and what about you, Mr. Sir Nathan?
I started reading. My dad was a comic book collector. He was big into comics, so I just read his old comics, like some old Spider-Man comics, Spider-Man number 200, Fantastic Four. So that's how I got into comics, just reading my dad's old comics. And Spider-Man was my favorite superhero for the longest, but as I got older, I started liking the more street level vigilante type heroes like Punisher and
And who else?
what else?
Daredevil.
I like Daredevil. I like Jessica Jones a lot too. I think she's such an underrated character. Her private investigator who has super strength.
Did you read Alias?
Yeah, I read all the Aliases. They were awesome.
They should have just adapted all that into the show. I don't know.
They did some elements, but not really. Loosely. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know why they do these things, man. They kind of like mention the Avengers, a guy with a hammer and a big green guy running around. It's like they act like they're scared to tie everything
Well,
together.
that would have been distracting. Okay, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say it's like they tried to, but then they just said hell with it. Like quick, and then it's not even involved in the MCU. But they're bringing a lot of those characters back into the MCU, which like Kingpin. You've seen Kingpin in the Hawkeye show, which was pretty damn dope.
Yeah, I like that.
I see you making a face, sir.
But they're saying that Matt Murdock wasn't even the Matt Murdock from the reality of the damn Netflix show. It was another multiverse Matt,
What? No.
And now they're saying that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't even actually have anything. Now they're just basically saying nothing that happened to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon.
I didn't watch that show.
And it's just like, what? Why? Okay. Anyway, moving along. I just get so upset, man. With some, I don't know, man.
All the Netflix shows are canon with MCU because they moved them all to Disney Plus, and they even today just released new posters saying like, hey, these are part of the MCU basically.
All right. My next question for you guys is, how do you feel about? I know how I feel about it, but I wonder, like, what is your take on the lack of diversity and inclusion in comics, and writers seemingly not being able to do it without it feeling forced? I mean, I feel like it's something that's important because when I was growing up, we didn't have we had Luke Cage and Black Lightning.
Yeah.
Those were like the only black, and the other black characters had like sucky powers, and sometimes they make them overpowered because they're trying to overcompensate. I mean, I do think it's a problem, and it's not just in comics, but we're just gonna stick with comic books. Like, what are your thoughts on lack of diversity and inclusion in comics? Do you feel like it's a thing?
I'm not a big comic book reader anymore. I used to read. I just read The Punisher. I don't know if it's a thing anymore because there's so many black and ethnic characters that they've introduced. I don't know if it's still a thing. Like they've changed a lot of main superheroes into like either they're now a woman or they're a person of color. Like I remember Wolverine, X-23 became the main Wolverine at some point. You have Miles Morales. You had like a new Asian, totally awesome Hawk. You had a black Captain America. So like I don't know if it's still a thing. But again, I'm not reading comics like that. But from the outside perspective, what I will say is I do always see a lot of people upset whenever a character, a black character is introduced or promoted.
A lot of people, you just feel like it may just be like maybe white straight males, maybe
that
possibly.
Yeah,
let's be real. I don't know why they feel like they have to. The artists feel like the writers feel like they I mean, there's nothing wrong with a black Superman, or Batman being black now. I think what's his name, the Lucius Fox's son took over as Batman. It's so confusing because they got these.
Well, he's Batwing though.
I think he's Batman.
He took over as Batman
because Batwing was a guy from Africa. Yeah, that was a guy. He was a guy from Africa. Yeah,
I don't know. There's different stories. There's different variations.
And all these different things. I hate when they do it because it's so confusing. Because you have all these different stories going on at the same time, and they don't always explain if it's all like in the same universe. Because then there are things going on that they don't even mention. Like there's this big thing going on in Wonder Woman right now, and it's like it doesn't really seem like it's affecting any of the titles. But then you're still being forced to buy all these other comics to keep up with the storyline, and then it'll just be like nothing will have lasting effects. It's just all confusing. And Marvel is Captain America. Well, no, Doctor Strange is dead in the Marvel comic books, but then he's running around with the Avengers in another book, and you're like, what the hell?
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the comic books, Doctor Strange is dead, and Clea. But then they still have Doctor Strange comic books going on. Like it didn't happen. It's just kind of confusing.
Let me just speak on something that might be controversial, but that's what I like to do. I like to be controversial.
It's about the inclusion and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's exactly about that. Let's see. I can't really speak on comic books. I can't, but I can speak on obviously the MCU. What I've observed about the industry. If you talk about the whole Oscar so white situation years ago, I believe that's done a lot to help diversity when it comes to Hollywood in general. And let's speak about things like the MCU, or just talk about Disney Plus shows. There was a big controversy, obviously, on the Obi-Wan show with the black character, the female character.
This is ridiculous.
Well, it is definitely very ridiculous, but at the same time, it proves my point at how they are really doing a better job at including our people. Obviously diversity, but we're all black here. I'm going to speak about us, including our people. In these shows, and I think they're doing a lot better job when it comes to that. So I mean, I give them props about that. But there was obviously, like you said, there's controversy when it came to the what is it, the Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to really go back, you can go back to all the shit they talked about. The first Star Wars movie with your boy, who when he Black Stormtrooper situation. And all that.
Finn.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the issues that her name is Moses. I think that's her stage name. The black actress who plays the Sixth Sister or something. I don't know.
Obi-Wan?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, she got hate mail or something. And
That's ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. But I mean, Darth Vader was voiced by a black guy, and nobody really seemed to care about that. And we had Billy Williams. I think that they are doing diversity and they're doing inclusion. I mean, they even have like LGBT characters and stuff. I mean, I think that sometimes it does feel forced. I mean, I don't know. You have these characters and they're not really interesting.
I think a lot of it's very forced.
And they're just kind of there.
Because they don't want to hear people's mouths. So here, shut up. I mean, to be honest, that's what it seems like.
I mean, what do you think of Miles Morales as a character?
I think he's dope.
Okay, I like him. I like Miles Morales. What do you think about Kamala Khan?
I like Kamala Khan. I've seen some episodes of Miss Marvel. I do like Kamala Khan. I mainly like the actress who plays Kamala Khan. I think she's really good.
There was some controversy on that show too because people were complaining that they had actors that were portraying Pakistan, but they weren't really Pakistan. It's just kind of like the same thing they did with. There was some Supergirl. They had the Italian lady playing a Mexican lady. The girl, I don't know if you watched Supergirl.
I watched the whole series.
The what's her name's girlfriend?
Her first girlfriend.
Yeah, they ended up like dumping her when they were going to get married because she didn't want to have kids or something.
Maggie was her girlfriend.
But she wasn't actually Mexican. She was Italian, and there was controversy like, why did they just hire a real Mexican actress?
Well, see, here's the thing. That's stuff that they've been doing for years. Yeah. I mean, if you want to really go there, Al Pacino was Italian. Okay, Scarface was Cuban. Okay, also let's go to Carlito's Way, Puerto Rican. Okay, we know damn well he ain't Puerto Rican nor Cuban, but he played the shit out of those characters.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just controversy over, I don't think
that's something that is a new thing, and at the same time, I'm not opposed to people like, hey, why not this, why not that? I mean, it's a lot of red tape involved with it.
But don't do that. Don't just hire a real Mexican person.
I think, that's something that they're doing better about now, but they've been doing that shit for years. I mean, let's talk about Cleopatra. Liz Taylor, you want to really go back?
How do you feel? How do you feel about the Black Superman that they're doing? Because I mean, there's all kinds of different. Nobody really knows what they're doing.
Is that really a thing?
Well, supposedly HBO Max is doing a
it's supposed to be Michael B. Jordan. Is that true?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to be the Zod, the multiverse, because you know, there's in another universe, General Zod had a son or something, and then there's the other universe where there's President Superman, who's modeled after Obama.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So it's like, is he going to be Clark Kent? What's the deal? You know,
or they may just do, and then there's the other rumor that it is going to be Clark Kent. They're just doing it with black people as a, you know, the what?
Really?
Like I don't know why did. You know, I don't know.
I like the sound of that. To me, I like the sound of that. Like Michael B. Jordan as Superman sounds awesome.
I don't personally.
President Superman. I mean, he's been a thing since Obama was president. You know, he's a he's a pretty cool character.
I'll just say this much: I don't necessarily like Michael B. Jordan as Superman. For me,
but an alternate version of
no. Here's the point I'm making. It's fine. Let's see what the hell you do. But I don't like his look for Superman. So I need to see what they do. Just as far as my taste.
You don't think he's like big enough? Or
I don't like his look for Superman. I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't like his look for Superman. Obviously, I mean they're gonna shave his facial hair, but most of the time he has facial hair. I personally don't like his look for Superman.
Did you guys see that Justice League series? It was a limited series and it was a cartoon. It was called I think Gods and Monsters.
I heard about it. It was like an animation, right?
Yeah, and they did a comic also,
right? Well, the Gods and Monsters was they did one movie. I think, right?
Yeah, it was a movie, and it was actually had a mini-series comics. It was basically Superman was Mexican, and because the ship landed in Mexico and was raised by immigrants.
It was interesting.
And Wonder Woman was Apocalypse's daughter or something like that. And Batman was actually a vampire because
it was very. Here's the thing, because I watch all those movies. I only watched it once. I found it interesting, but I didn't feel like it was that great of a watch to watch it again. Like for instance, whereas if you know about Justice League Dark. Like I can keep watching Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark is so damn gangster, you know. But that one, it was. I mean, it was the conceptual things. It's almost like What If, the What If series. Obviously, that's like DC's version of What If. It's cool.
Well, you know, they've always done the multiversity. Then they kind of got rid of it when they did Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, that was basically DC just getting rid of it because I guess it just felt like it was too. Then they brought it back with the New 52. You know, and then Marvel does, you know, they got rid of the Ultimate Universe because Marvel had the Ultimate Universe where Miles Morales is from. But he's actually stuck in our reality now because their reality was wiped out. So he's like one of the few. Some of the characters got away. I think Wolverine's son came over or something.
Wolverine's son? Oh.
Yeah, because he actually had claws that were bone, but then he could concentrate and the metal would actually form over the claw. Yeah.
You talking about Dakin?
No. There's a Wolverine's son had a son in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to see that.
And they started drawing Thor's hammer, which he had in Endgame. That's the hammer that he had in this. But then it's also the same hammer that what's the name? Beta Ray Bill has. They kind of like take all these different elements and just kind of like. But yeah, because they really based Captain America in the MCU and Thor off of the Ultimate versions because the regular version of Captain America is not really that strong. But the Ultimate version of Captain America is definitely superhuman.
Is that right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So you saying the MCU, is that more based on what?
Ultimate Universe.
Ultimate.
Yeah. And Nick Fury was based off of in the Ultimate Universe. Nick Fury was a black guy who was based off of Samuel Jackson, and they took that version and put in the Avengers movie. You know, and then they explained it in the comic books that he's actually the long lost son of Nick Fury or some crap, and he just has his name. And
well, I heard the original story. Whoever came up with the original, that whole look of Nick Fury, the black look, they wanted Samuel L. Jackson, so that's why they made him that way, sort of a thing to kind of get him in the role. And then, of course, we got Samuel L. Jackson. So they say that the person who did that, his favorite actor was Samuel L. Jackson. So, but they ultimately wanted him, and obviously we have him. So
they were trying to decide. If they were going to do a black Benjamin Grimm, a black Captain America, and they just, you know, and then I heard they decided on Nick Fury.
I think it's dope. Yeah, I mean, Sam Jackson is awesome as Nick Fury.
You got to read the Ultimates though, man, because Nick Fury was actually I guess you could call him Patient Zero, because he actually had the X gene.
Oh,
and everything else came from him, all the mutants.
Is that the black version of Nick Fury?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the Ultimates universe. Nick Fury was
all the mutants are descendants from him?
In the X gene, it came
from
him.
It came from that's cool as hell.
Yeah, in the Ultimates.
See, the thing about me, I'm more of, I like to see the live action, like a cartoon. Like when the first X-Men came out, that was like...
They did cartoons, though. They did Ultimates comics, movies. They did two of them.
Did they?
They did two Ultimates, because in the second one, I think Black Panther came.
Okay.
Yeah,
How long ago did they do?
It was like 2006, I think.
It's a while ago.
Really? Because the thing is, I don't really hear about the Marvel animated movies. I hear about all the DC ones. Marvel doesn't do a good job at promoting their animated movies.
DC just killing it, man, with the
They been though.
Yeah.
You know, they've been killing them.
They've been killing it with the animated stuff.
Yeah.
But Marvel, Marvel did something interesting with anime. That's a whole nother discussion. They had anime Blade, they had Wolverine animated, they had X-Men animated, they had Iron Man.
I think I've seen the X-Men.
And they're all on I think you can watch them now on Hulu or Vudu, or one of those free streaming has like all. I think Netflix may have
that. X-Men was pretty dope. The X-Men was pretty dope. It was, the animation was so different and just like the Japan animation style.
I seen it. It was pretty dope though.
All right, the next topic is going to be like Doctor Strange. Like, what are your? I guess I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on Doctor Strange?
I thought Elizabeth Olsen was great. I really did. I thought that was probably her best performance that I've seen. She might have other great performances. In fact, she does have other great performances because I've seen her in Avengers. But yeah, I thought she was amazing. I thought she was scary when she needed to be. The dramatic and emotional beats hit and were effective. And yeah, I thought she was amazing in it. I loved her in that movie. Yeah.
So how would you rate it? High? You give it a good rating? I mean, over the first, you like it better than the first movie?
Huh?
You like Doctor Strange 2 better than
I like Doctor Strange the first one better than I like the second one.
Oh, really?
In my opinion, yeah. I like the.
You don't feel like the second one, you don't feel like the first one was better than the second
I
one?
love the second one way better.
Because
the first one was cool, but this shit was something else. Like, this was next level. Plus, they had my boy Charles Xavier. They had the X-Men
for like 5 minutes.
It don't matter. They don't matter. We got my boy Patrick Stewart in the MCU. Then of course we got Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. That was cool. That was, for me. I look at things. I'm highly spiritual, and I look at certain things on a certain level. And it just spiritually, it was really awesome. Some of the things they were doing. I mean, especially at the end when you seen him, the whole going in. What is it? Was it something walking?
Spirit walking, asleep. What do they call it?
Something like the spirit walking as
take over the dead.
And then he controlled the demons and made them a cake like that.
That was so Sam Raimi though. I love Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi's he's insane, but he just so out there.
I didn't know he was directed until I'm like, oh, this is dope. And of course you got Bruce Campbell. You always gotta get a Bruce Campbell cameo.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He was giving them a hard time when he went to that dimension. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the Multiverse of Madness, so let's just say it correctly, the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness was like the Ragnarok of Doctor Strange movies. Okay. As far as all the kind of, the way went far out with it. And I really enjoyed it.
Do you think that the next one will be as good with Clea?
That Clea is that other character that Charlize Theron's gonna play?
Yeah, she's actually, in the comic books, Clea was his wife. They were married.
Oh, okay. I wasn't familiar
she's
with
Dormammu's daughter.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
Oh, Dormammu's daughter. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I look forward to. Because he got the one eye thing now, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
That was so Sam Raimi how he just went in the middle of the street, just like started screaming at the camera, crazy camera angles, and he's like.
I think it's super awesome that the MCU allowed Sam Raimi into this universe because he's his whole style is crazy.
They need Guillermo del Toro to come in and do some work.
Oh wow!
Because he was doing the Justice League Dark and it just never happened.
He was supposed to do it.
Yeah, it just never happened.
Oh man.
Yeah, they was doing a game of PlayStation. It never happened. They were doing it was going to be a Silent Hill, and they actually have released a demo. And they took the demo down, and he said, "Don't ever ask me to work on any of your video game projects because it just never happens. It's something that always goes wrong, and it just never happens. I'm the one. I'm the murderer of video game projects."
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool if they get him. I mean, obviously, that's what I like about Kevin Feige. He seems very loyal, and he's trying to get everybody in the MCU. I mean, if you watch the Moon Knight, we've seen Ethan Hawke as the main villain.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was him until after a while.
He does. Yeah, he really aged a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's the reason why
they made him look like that, though. I guess DC is trying. They said they want a person like Kevin Feige. They want a person like that because they don't have anyone, which is why their movies.
They need somebody like that. Remember, we talked about it on the phone. Like, they need somebody who loves comics and who really, they. I don't know.
I mean, do do you like the DC movies? I mean, did you like the Snyder Cut?
I love it. I did love the Snyder Cut.
Did you like the Snyder Cut? You didn't like it because you had that look like you had a look on your face.
Let's talk about why you didn't like it. Come on,
I mean, compared to the first Justice League movie, it's like apples and oranges. It's so. I mean, I thought Snyder Cut was a work.
Well, I think the DCU has done some good stuff. Like I really like Wonder Woman. I really like Shazam, and I really like Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
I thought all three of those were pretty good. I like the Batman too.
Did you like Suicide Squad? I thought the first one was a bit more coherent. There was a lot going on in the second one, even though I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I might have liked part 2 a little bit better than part 1. It just seemed like
get all the ringers off, please, guys.
I liked Joker. I went to movies and saw it. I bought the home video. I kind of feel like it's a little overrated though. I mean, I hate to be that guy. I mean, I liked it. I don't think there should be a sequel. And the rumor is that they're doing a sequel and it's going to be a musical.
Oh God.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, let me address some of the things you said. Let's speak on Joker. As you mentioned the Joker, I felt the Joker was fabulous. My thing is, I wasn't one of those people who paid attention to all the hype, so I thought it was. I didn't really have any expectations. That's kind of how I felt when I seen the first Spider-Man movie. Because I'm not a huge Spider-Man. I know you mentioned Spider-Man. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. You know. So when I seen the first Spider-Man, it was like I was blown away.
Which you talking about?
The Sam Raimi,
okay,
2002.
Right.
I was in college, so yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I thought the Joker was amazing. I mean, I really love what they did. But at the same time, I feel where you're coming from. Man, we don't really need another one of those.
No, just don't.
One off is fine. But
Just don't.
they about that money. They don't get that money.
Did you? What did you feel about? How did you feel about Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn?
But
I loved it. I really loved it.
I loved it.
I didn't see it in the theater.
I
I thought that everything about with Harley Quinn. I think she's super dope as Harley Quinn. Point blank period. What's her name?
Freaking
Margot
lucky.
Robbie.
She's a lucky character because
Margot
she has no powers and she's a damn baseball bat. And
She's as dope as Harley Quinn. I think they need to. I don't. That whole Birds of Prey stuff wasn't working for me. I think we need to just focus on her own individual movies. I feel the movie was cool, but overall, she really made it for me.
Where the hell was Batgirl at though? How can you do a movie about Birds of Prey and not even have Barbara Gordon even mentioned?
Yeah.
That was just weird.
The DCU is kind of weird. What else did you mention earlier? You mentioned another movie.
Shazam?
Shazam was awesome.
Yeah.
It plays in Philly. Philly's my hometown.
That's where you're from?
Yeah.
Well, because my thing is Shazam, I didn't know what the hell to expect from that. I was blown away, and I watched it on my computer because I wasn't gonna go to theater to see that shit.
I saw it. I loved it.
I didn't know what the hell that was. I mean, I know of the character.
What about Black Adam? What do you think that's gonna be?
That trailer looks dope.
It does.
We've been hearing about it for
I
years.
agree.
So
Yeah.
now we finally got.
Yeah.
Well,
It
you know,
looks
The Rock.
good. That
The
looks
Rock
good.
is really like 95% the reason why that movie even exists.
Is that right? He was.
Oh yeah, he
pushing for
spearheaded
it.
it. Yeah, he
Okay.
spearheaded it.
I think it's about time we get The Rock and a superhero character.
But why? But again, the elephant in the room, Teth Ammon, whatever how you say his name, he's a Middle Eastern guy.
Who's that? Oh, there's a person playing the.
No, he's supposed to be Middle Eastern.
Oh, you're
Black
saying
Adam.
Black Adam's character.
Character. He's supposed to be a Middle Eastern guy.
Hey, The Rock is The Rock.
But he
The
could
people's
he
champ,
could have
The
played
Rock.
another
The
character in
Rock
the
can
movie,
do
though.
whatever he wants to do. If you smell what he's cooking.
Oh man, I just.
Look, and here's the thing. I'm gonna be
I mean,
honest.
it can work. I mean, I guess he can have an accent.
Let me be 100% about The Rock. I love The Rock. I'm more of a fan of The Rock, the wrestler. I have not been much of a big. I haven't seen most of his movies. I haven't. I'll
You
be
didn't see
honest.
Rundown?
What is that?
Rundown?
I saw the Rundown. Rundown was cool.
Hobbs and what was the movie they did?
Hell
Opposition.
to the no. I ain't
You
seen
didn't
it.
like it? It was
I
actually
didn't see
pretty
it.
good.
I didn't see
It was
it.
actually pretty good.
I'm just saying, I don't seek out his movies.
You
And
didn't
I
like
love The Rock.
Fast and Furious? You didn't see him in the Fast and
I
Furious?
love the people's champ, The Rock. That's the thing.
So you never saw him in the Fast and Furious movies?
Let me say the movies I saw. I saw Walking Tall. Is that what it's called? Walking Tall.
Yeah.
I seen what's the one with Mark Wahlberg? Pain and Gain. Dope.
I didn't like it.
I thought it was dope. Even though it's like when you find out that it's based on the true story, it's like, damn,
Yeah, it's just
y'all
really-
really,
yeah.
y'all really made a comedy out of this dude's life. Like that was crazy.
I didn't like it.
Walking Tall or the Rundown, I did see that. Of course, the Scorpion King, Mummy
Yeah,
Returns.
those were good.
My thing was when the Mummy Returns and Scorpion King came out, I was excited about those because I'm like, ooh, The Rock. But I didn't think he was gonna keep doing movies. And obviously, I mean, I'm proud of him, and I'm happy at how big he's become. I just
Did you like Hercules? Did you see Hercules?
didn't see that. I don't seek out his movies, and I'm saying if he ever sees it, I love you, bro. I just don't seek out his movies.
But Black Adam looks good though.
I'm a superhero dude. Like I'm gonna see the superhero movies. Like I'm gonna see the big blockbuster movies.
And just Society of America, what's his name? Aldous Hodge is playing Hawkman.
No.
Yeah, you see him in the trailer when the wings come out.
Okay, and because Hawkman he's white in the comics. So.
No, actually he's not.
He's not.
Actually, he's
everything I've ever seen. He's white.
Middle Eastern. He's Middle Eastern.
Really?
Yeah, like from Egypt.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, you know how it is. I mean, I was just watching. Lately I've been going to sleep watching the Justice League series, and I was just watching this episode where a guy who played Carter Hall, Hawkman. He's a white dude.
Well, they're always like reincarnated. So they start out as being Middle Eastern, then they're white later, then they're I guess but okay. But originally I think they were. The whole reincarnation thing is so strange, and Vandal Savage, what the hell is he white? I mean, I guess he is, but in the comic book, I think he's just kind of
Well, if you talk about because Vandal Savage is in a lot of the animated shows, and it looks like Middle Eastern sort. He looks sort of because his story is caveman.
Yeah, he was a caveman.
So he's a Neanderthal. He looks weird and it just works.
All right, so do you think that you think that the Flash movie? What are your thoughts about the Flash movie?
Hopefully it comes out.
I mean, have they showed a trailer? Because I think I've seen. I feel like I've seen. Yeah, that was because they see the car. The Batmobile is like underneath the tarp or something.
Okay.
And
I've seen pieces. Yeah,
and they go in the house, and then Michael Keaton is standing there talking to them or something.
Because they're doing a Flashpoint story, I believe, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
There was some elements of that.
Okay. I've seen certain things. I mean,
And Ben Affleck said that he had such a great time filming that he would love to come back.
Because
before he didn't want to have anything. He was just done because he had the whole thing. I guess with Josh Whedon.
The DC's been a clusterfuck. That's why. So it's like Ben Affleck. I historically love Ben Affleck. So it's like I think Ben Affleck at this point is an icon, and I think he doesn't have to do this shit if he doesn't want to.
No. But he should write and direct a Batman. I mean, they should do that.
That was an idea before things started falling apart.
Okay, now getting back to video games and diversity and stuff. And you out of video games. You said the last video game you played was what?
X-Men Mutant Academy. That's like 2000, but it was a dope game.
It was a good game.
I remember that. Were you even alive when that game came out?
Yes, I was alive.
Boy, that damn young.
It was like 90s. It was like 90s.
It was 2000.
Was it
2000?
Yeah, my dad had it. It was when X-Men the movie came out, and then they released the game. Kind of like
your dad is 40.
My dad's 50.
Okay.
He just turned 50.
Okay. Wasn't there like a secret where you could unlock Spider-Man in the game?
Yeah.
In that one?
Yeah, and you can unlock Spider-Man.
And play as Professor Xavier in his wheelchair, right?
Yeah. No, wait. I think that was X-Men Mutant Academy 2, where you unlock Charles and Spider-Man. But I think that came out in 2000 as well.
Those games are hard to find now too, man. They're probably impossible to find.
Yeah,
because they delisted a lot of those games. They take them off. They take them. They're not available to buy anymore. Let
me ask you. So with obviously your tenure and expertise in video games, you're able to there's certain consoles where you can still play those old games on.
Yeah, you can buy. Well, emulation right now is like basically you go online and you look for the game, and then you have to download it's a program called Emulation Code or whatever. It will let you play those games from as far back as the 80s until I think PlayStation 2, because it's harder for them to get the newer consoles to work. It takes longer, but I've heard that they've got N64 and GameCube games working, and Dreamcast. And maybe, I think last month, somebody figured out a way to emulate PlayStation 5 games, and Sony had to quickly patch the system or something to make it so people could, because they don't want people, you could copy the games and then just put it on the internet and people can play it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they don't want, there's little tricks that you can do. I have a device, I don't have it on me now, but a PC, if you have a PC, a laptop, you can basically play any game you can think of. You can find it online for free and play it. And the companies are kind of against this, but the problem is you can't find the damn games anywhere unless you spend $1 million. And if Nintendo is they put out a new system, and your games from your old system don't work on a new system, then what are you going to do when the old system breaks down? So now there's been a movement, actually, a movement to preserve legacies of games, because the companies aren't doing it. So people are modding it, people are doing it online, and they're actually even taking games and fixing them to make them run and look better than they did.
Oh wow!
Hackers actually adding stuff to games like Halo. And the bad thing about it is sometimes you'll be playing Call of Duty and people will be literally teleporting, or you're shooting them and the bullets are having no effect on them. Stuff like that is a problem.
Because they put a teleportation ability in the game.
Yeah.
That's unfair.
Yeah, it's unfair. Yeah, you're playing and someone's running at super speed, and
I'm Nightcrawler in the motherfucker.
It's a problem. Then they have to put anti-cheat software in the games now. But sometimes it messes up. And then you have the toxic communities. That's a whole other discussion.
Toxic.
Yeah. You go on playing Call of Duty, and you hear people calling you.
Oh, the N-word stuff.
Yeah, just like whoa. I don't even like. I just turn my mic off now. I don't even like. I'm so turned. I don't even play. The multiplayer games I played, I don't even have my mic on. And I played Blood Hunt, Vampire the Masquerade. You'd love it. It's like Fortnite, but everybody's a vampire. And the graphics look better, like way better. You're like running around the streets, and you can. The character I play as, he jumps like the damn Hulk. There's like 7 different vampire tribes. You have the Bruja, which are like super strong, and they can shoot force fields and they jump real. Then you have the Camarilla. They're like romantic, and I guess there's another one that's like they're to arts and stuff. And do you know anything about Vampire the Masquerade? You know about it, right?
I know a lot about it now. You just gave a lot of history lessons.
Well, I think it started out as like a card game, if I'm not mistaken, or a role-playing game, like Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons. And then they made, and then it kind of like there were novels, a bunch of novels.
It's called what again?
Vampire the Masquerade.
It's older, like when when it first came out, like the book or whatever.
Probably the mid '90s, I would say.
Started as a book, you say?
Well, it started as card games.
Okay.
Card games, and then it became novels, and then they did comic books. Yeah. They did a TV show called The Kindred back in the '90s by Aaron Spelling, and there were only like 8 episodes.
What's it called? The Kindred?
Yeah.
Oh.
There were like 8 episodes. I have the DVD. Basically,
really?
Every city has a vampire who's like the lord of that city, and they're called the prince. Even if it's a woman, they're called the prince. And all the vampire tribes, they like listen to them, and they all have like an alliance. So if somebody goes and does something crazy, then the prince will like order a hit on you. It's called a blood hunt. And the whole law about Vampire the Masquerade is that humans can never know that vampires exist. That's why it's called the Masquerade.
That's cool.
So anytime a vampire does something that messes up all the other vampires, even your friends, have to try to kill you. It's called blood hunt. And then you have the werewolves. It's called Werewolf the Apocalypse, which is also, it exists. It's all called the World of Darkness. So Werewolf the Apocalypse exists, and then you have witches and stuff. But it really focuses on Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse. And the werewolves are like the earth. They protect the earth, so they're like the guardians of the earth. But they don't really like the vampires, obviously. I don't have to say that, but they don't get along with each other. But there's a game that came out a couple of years ago, Werewolf the Apocalypse. And then there's like motion comics that you can read. That kind of tie in. Why you look at me like that? What? Well, I mean, I didn't make it up. I mean, it is.
No, you encyclopedia. This stuff. Boy, you got some a lot of good information.
Man, Blood Hunt is free. It's free if you want to play the game. But you don't have a console though. You gotta get you a PlayStation.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why they didn't put it on the Xbox. That's a whole nother conversation too. Why PlayStation?
I need that to be a movie though. What you just described that's a movie like that's
the series. You can probably watch it on YouTube. You can probably do a YouTube search for The Kindred.
I'm talking about a new movie. Like that needs to be a new movie.
The rumor is that they're trying to do like a TV show or something.
Okay.
There's a rumor that they're trying to do a new TV because they're doing like Vampire the Anne Rice thing. They're doing that.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, it's a series?
Yeah, they already have a trailer.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, there's a trailer out.
Because the movie was good. There's only so much they could do with they can really stretch that out.
Well, there's so many books.
The stat story.
And the mummies, and the devil, the Nimnok.
What about the Queen of the Damn stuff? Like the character.
Yeah,
that's all part of that.
Yeah, that's all. Because she was like, there were 3 vampires. I think.
Akasha.
She was one of them. There were 3 women vampires, and they were like, I think she went crazy, and the other vampires had to try to beat her up or something. Wow. But Anne Rice got the rights to that stuff right before she died, not long before she died.
I know she died.
And then she died, like I think last year. Was it last year or 2020?
I know she died.
And her son is a novelist too.
Thank God she got the rights back. Shit.
Yeah. Well, and Nita Baker just got the rights back to her music.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Got her masters.
All right, so getting back to the movie stuff, because we talked about your video game knowledge is like we got to work on your video game.
Well, hey, like I said, tell me.
Let's
talk about Super Mario Brothers 3, and I got you, bro.
I gotta give you a console. what is the craziest thing that happened to you when you were doing security? Because I know I think you said you pretty had a vanilla experience when you were security.
Well, the thing is, okay, I went to a school called Wilberforce University. Wilberforce University is the oldest historically private black college in America. I'm class of 2003. So I did what was called a dorm security monitor. You know, there was a main guy who was my main boss. I sat there. I let people come in for visitation. I made sure people came in, that they actually were in this dorm, stuff like that or whatever. It was never ever really a lot of fuss or whatever, except sometimes there was parties on the weekend and people would come in and they would be tripping. There was one time where a chick came in pretty much half naked, like just running. It was, there's nothing I could really do but look. What am I going to really do? That was on my main boss to kind of, hey, you got to get your shit together, because she was, because it's college, But otherwise, it was pretty smooth sailing. I let people, in, out. I had a certain time that I worked. It was a work study program, so it helped me pay my tuition. But yeah, I worked, I did it for a couple years, and throughout the week to get the money I need for tuition. But otherwise, I was really in charge of visitation and making sure people, if you're not in here, and I knew pretty much people who weren't in the dorm, and you can't come in without visitation. When visitation's over, you gotta leave. That's pretty much it.
So what did the naked lady do? What did she do? You said there was a woman naked.
The thing was, is a guy named, I think he's still alive. His name is Rev. Rev was the guy, was one of the guys who, my main boss. He's there, the main boss. Hey girl, you gotta get, it was just, it's not, she's running around drunk. So it's like running in and out of the room, drunk, and, just, I don't know. She had a good time at the damn party.
That happened at my job last week.
What? Oh, yeah?
We ever had some naked person, we had to call the ambulance.
Wow.
Yeah, when you call the ambulance, the fire department shows up, the police, you think it's a big hostage situation or something. You look outside, see all these trucks and
was
cars.
she homeless?
She was just tweaking on some drugs or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And screaming, one of the counselors came and said she screamed bloody murder in the hallway naked. Yeah. The fire department showed up, and police came, and other guards called me on the radio, and I'm like, dude, I can't just leave the post and come around there.
I was just thinking about this on the bus up here. In America, there's such a big controversy about nudity. In no other countries is there such a big controversy about nudity. I was thinking specifically about tits. And no, for real, that's true. It's like there's such a big fuss about breasts. And in no other country,
particularly Janet Jackson's, right?
Oh man, let's not go there, Justin, motherfucker. Anyway, no, but the thing about it is, if you go back to what was I gonna say? There's certain I heard in certain countries, European countries, they have commercials with nudity. I don't know if I haven't been out there, but I heard that. I don't know.
Just go on YouTube and see if it's true.
No, I'm just saying. The point I'm making is we can see, obviously we can see nudity, but it's such a big fuss. It made me think about the fact that there had to be some time where they're like, okay, breasts are a big deal. We're not going to allow people to show their breasts and feel comfortable.
That's a religion thing.
Yeah,
a lot of people that are really, back then, it's like anything that you did that was fun, it just seemed like it was a sin. Mm-hmm. But people are afraid. I think people are afraid of sexuality. I think that is definitely something that comes from religious beliefs. And the sad thing is that as you're hearing more and more about these like priests. Things that happen, things are coming out, and now these commercials, you turn the radio on, or I'm listening to Spotify, and there's commercials coming on, literally talking about if you were sexually, assaulted by, a priest or what, even though it's been a long time, you can still come forward with it and
reimburse or something.
Like, oh my God.
This is gonna be controversial. I'm gonna say it since you brought it up. I just don't think that priests should be so repressed and not have sex.
Well, yeah, because it's not natural. But that's controversial. But some people feel that it's a gift. They believe that when you're divine.
To each his own. I think that your penis gets hard for a reason.
Yeah,
your vagina gets wet for a reason.
Reproduce. It's natural, but some people feel that in that profession, the purity and the divine nature. But it's religion.
I get all of that. I'm just saying that I think a lot of that stuff happens because then people are repressed. I don't think we should repress our sexuality. It's natural. That's my opinion.
You nod your head when you what's going on over there.
I was just thinking of the quote from Matrix. Was it? What did he say to Neo? He said, "If you deny to deny your impulses is to deny the very thing that makes us human." That's not saying I agree that priests, should be more open with this, should have sex or whatever. I don't know. Teach his own.
They should have a woman.
But they do. It's just that they do it on the down low, and then it's this image that they have to create, and then they're suppressing their feelings, and then they end up doing something crazy that, you know, and I think when they're repressing their sexuality, I think that these things come to the surface eventually. It's just like you try to sweep dirt under the rug, you keep sweeping it and it just keep building up and building. One day,
I say
that rug just fly open and then everything just...
I'll just say that. I'll just say this much. I'll leave it at this. If people are able to, who have been abused, if they're able to get some kind of compensation or money for that, I think that's a good thing. Because people have trauma. We have trauma. We need to deal with these trauma. At least money will help with the emotional, what is it called? Emotional distress.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's still not going to take away the fact that it happened, but at least you get some money.
Yeah.
All right. What is your craziest security story?
I don't really have crazy security stories. I just...
You gotta have at least one thing crazy that happened. Nobody naked running around? Or...
No, honestly, I guess...
Roll back, man. Tell us about it, man. Come on, man.
Honestly,
I told you about the naked bride.
No, I think just... I don't know, like... one time the thing broke where they gotta validate their card to exit.
Oh
the thing.
yeah, you tell me.
Yeah, and I was the only one. Yeah, and it broke down. So I was, I was just the only one
in line waiting to get blown
in
out.
the line of cards.
Oh,
Didn't know what how many cards? A lot of cards.
Just back up.
10. Yeah,
because it has to get fixed before they can let them in.
Yeah, exactly. Before they can leave.
I feel
So I was
So your supervisor had to come out there?
No, I got it to work. I forget how. I think I had to open the thing up and fix it, but it was when I was just starting.
No, that's bad.
I was scared.
I know you was sweating too like crazy.
First couple days, that's the worst.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah, that's really bad. I would have thought that the supervisor would have came out and helped you or something like that.
No, I don't think he did.
Ooh.
Was it overnight?
Yeah, it was 12 to a.m. 12 a.m.
You got to figure yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
You should figure it out.
Yeah.
I got locked out one night, man, and I had to call my supervisor. I locked myself out of the door, and I couldn't be. Yeah, it was crazy. She had water in her hair. She was washing her hair, and
oh, she was at her house.
It was pretty crazy. Didn't happen again, but I picked the damn lock and was able to get in. I was so because I mean it's like you know that you said you locked yourself out today from your
I did.
I mean you get that realization when the door closes behind you. This is the realization like oh shit, you know. Then you realize it. It's like.
How'd you pick the lock? Did you pick like a paper clip? How'd you do it?
I broke a piece of wire that had been, I guess someone had twisted it on around the gate to close to something. They tried to make I guess part of the gate needed a wire. Anyway, I twisted it and I took the two pieces of wire and I just stuck them in the key and I jigged because I know there had been times before when I'd used another key. It wasn't the right key, but I stuck it in and I kind of jigged it a little bit and I was able to get it to open. So I was like, maybe I'll do this with this wire and then I'll do the same thing. And man, I was lucky.
Thank goodness.
3 o'clock in the morning, I mean, everything's going well. I had a real peaceful night and then that just happened. As soon as, like I said, when the door closed behind me, it just hit me.
That's how it always happens.
I didn't have the key.
You have a good day.
Yeah. It always, like, in the last 15 minutes of your shift is when the person decides to go off and the horse gets loose and is running loose in the lobby, knocking over everything.
That ever actually
No, I'm just saying.
Like we see in movies all the time.
Damn, who let this horse out?
I was watching a damn video this morning on YouTube, man. A damn elephant went inside a damn. It was in India somewhere, and they had the cows chained at night. An elephant just went in there and started attacking the cows.
Oh,
that's I gotta see that.
And it was the elephant kept going in there, and he would leave because you just see the cows and it's all
hilarious.
You just hear the cows are there and it's dark and and all of a sudden you see this banging like bam, boom, 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 and the elephant just like walks in and just starts going in on
my house.
I've
heard that elephants are aggressive. I have heard that.
Well, when they're in heat. The male elephants when they're
horny,
they're dangerous. The other elephants stay the hell away from them because they're like they're like in a crazy something happens.
Give me vagina.
They're just it's like a madness. They call it lint. I think even deer. Oh, deer actually killed a guy.
Male deer or
a male deer? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They're insane when they're going through that period, man. It's crazy. I think people like that, but just don't like.
They can't. We our minds are we can't do that. We're not supposed to at least.
The elephant just went in there and just started attacking, and this one particular cow was in the corner, and man, it was just and the elephant just kept attacking that. The cow was all like crumpled in the corner, and the elephant just kept goring it.
I can't wait to see that.
That's horrible.
Yeah, they couldn't just do it. It was just laying there. And the other cows are trying to get away from it, but they're chained and they can't do nothing. They're trying to.
It was supposed to be Indian.
I was trying to laugh, but man, it was just.
That sounds hilarious.
I was trying
You know what's
to
so
laugh.
cool about that? That's something that I never even thought of could ever actually happen.
And he
in my
kept
life.
leaving and coming back and doing it over and over.
I don't
again.
even think about cows and elephants together ever.
He would leave, and then a few minutes would go by, and you just hear bam, boom again, and he would just
Come
come
back,
right
motherfuckers!
And it was just the one in the corner it just kept going in on.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, is he dead? I couldn't even tell.
You owe me money! Pow!
I've gotten lately, it's one of my guilty pleasures. Recently, I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about bear attacks. I don't even know how I got into it, but the grizzly attacks, man. And then there's like paranormal videos about Bigfoot and stuff, the creepy stuff. Like this morning I was watching one about like, it was this room, it was a kitchen and like utensils and plates were just flying everywhere and drawers are opening up and closing and opening up and the guy that was narrating was like, there's no way for them to fake something like this. It would be like just, you can't see no wires or nothing and it's not CGI. I mean, and you'd see the doors opening and closing. And then there was one video of these two little girls were sitting down playing, they were like playing cards or something, and they were both, it's like the same age. And one girl was sitting like this, I guess she, with her back to the door, and the other girl was, and she could see like behind her, and she was like freaking out. And they're like, what's wrong? She's like screaming and crying. And I guess she gets up to go to her mother because she's just like so inconsolable. And the other girl turns around and looks, and she starts screaming and crying, and she just freaks out and jumps up. And when they like showed the camera, when they zoomed in, I'm getting chills just talking about it. You could see something, a weird kind of like outline of something like looking around the corner.
It's supposed to be real?
Yeah. I mean, their kids were not acting.
Oh, wow.
There was something going on, and it's just really freaky.
It's a bear attack video too?
No, this was
it's something else. Okay.
It's called Chills. But the bear attacks, I don't know why they're so entertaining because you feel bad for the people, man, when they're telling the stories. I mean, some people are like really disfigured. Almost every attack, there's like the injuries are just unless they were lucky enough to curl up.
Yeah. I mean,
did you see the one where there's like a guy in a blue short shirt standing there taking a picture with the bear while it's standing up, and then it just turns and bites his head and he dies like seconds later?
Really?
Yeah. Did you see that one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching that on YouTube.
Wait, so he's taking a picture with him like the bear was cool at first?
Yeah,
like baiting him, like yeah,
exactly.
The ones that are really crazy are when the lions and the leopards attack the dogs and like kill them, and it all gets captured on camera. Yeah, the dogs in some cases are just like confused and don't even know what to do.
That's great.
It shouldn't be confused. Why is this like in the wild, or this is in different countries, or where is this? You said leopards and what?
Leopards attacking dogs.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a was it the food chain or it's a whole thing? Like, you gotta go. I'm hungry.
I don't know. I always feel bad when it's other animals getting attacked. But like when I hear about humans getting attacked, I don't care. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, the dogs are just like out there in the yard, and all of a sudden, the freaking leopard just comes out of nowhere, and dog is just yelping, and you just hear them when they go off in the woods, and you just know it's over. And all you can hear is just yelping.
But this is my question: do you think that those are in different countries that this is happening?
Sometimes it is in other countries.
Leopards are not really out in America.
India,
right?
you see literally. In India, you see videos of dogs literally going into houses, going upstairs and dragging the dog down the stairs, and the dog is like yelling, and then the dog gets away and comes back, and you see the leopard run right back in the house and go up the stairs and get the dog and drag him back down.
I just feel like that's how it goes. It's the top of the food chain. Leopards are finna get the dog, and that's just what it is.
When I saw one bear attack video I saw yesterday, which made me mad, it was about this. I guess they lived out in the woods in a really nice house, and like I guess they said the guy was getting ready for work at like 3 a.m. for his security job, and he let the dog out to use the bathroom. And the dog went out in the woods, and then the dog was like, I guess like a couple of minutes by, the dog was barking like alarm, and it was not a regular bark, it was like something was wrong. And I guess the dog ran back to the house, and like, I was like, I knew it was coming next, because the bear, a mother bear, was right behind the dog, and the dog ran past the owner. The guy just freaked out, the bear attacked the guy, and it's like mauling him, and the wife comes downstairs and she's all like freaking out, and the bear starts attacking her.
Damn.
And yeah, it was a big mess, man. And I guess the bear finally got out, just ran back.
I'm satisfied with the amount of blood that I shed today.
But that dog, if the dog hadn't led them to let the damn bear back, because that's why it was And if the kid that was upstairs sleeping that came down, it could have really been bad. The kid was upstairs
Does
sleeping.
that seem like another country too?
No, this was in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to be nowhere where bears are. I don't want to be there. I just don't want to be there.
Yeah, it's a big problem. All right, my next question. How do you feel about Star Wars? I know that's something that I know you got a lot to say about Star Wars.
Let him start. You got anything to say about Star Wars?
I know you're gonna be going forever because I know you got a lot. You're real passionate about Star Wars.
No, I really didn't grow up with watching Star Wars or anything, any of the movies. I saw the original 3, the trilogy. I thought it was good. I liked them. To me, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was actually good to me because I saw it when I was like 10 years old or something. So I thought it was good at the time, and So yeah, that's my opinion about Star Wars. Like I'm not into the whole. I'm not into the fandom or anything like that. I enjoyed Episode 3, and I like the original trilogy, so that's all I got.
But did you watch Obi-Wan? Did you watch The Mandalorian? Did you watch?
No, I haven't seen any of the Disney Plus shows. Yeah.
And on that note, put the camera on me.
I know. No, I know.
I have to make sure this cat make sure he ain't familiar.
No, I don't know.
All right.
I grew up loving Star Wars, man. Of course, the originals is the bomb, the best. Except for that one time when George Lucas thought he wanted to remake the movies, and he put Hayden Christensen in. One of my favorite scenes is Return of the Jedi when he finally revealed and we see how Darth Vader really looks. And he got at the very end when you see the spirit, it was Hayden Christensen in one of those versions. I hated that; it pissed me off. But otherwise, those are the bomb. The original ones are the bomb. Prequels, so. I love the Attack of the Clones because when I first seen Yoda flipping and shit and all that.
Oh yeah, that was amazing when Yoda had to fight with Count Dooku or whatever his name was.
Count Dooku, yeah.
That's what I said.
You said doo-doo.
I would never say
You
anything
said
like
doo-doo? Oh, I got they said doo-doo. Well, anyway. Well, a lot of the other movies were doo-doo, so that's appropriate. But yo, when I seen that and flipping and all that, I was so excited after that movie.
Yeah.
I was in Ohio at the time, so I went to Kroger and I bought one of the lightsabers. The ones, the plastic ones where they open.
Yeah.
I was
Not like the $150 ones you could buy at Disney World.
I was in college. I had to buy one I could afford, about $10, $20, whatever. I was so excited because I've never seen Yoda do that. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones. I feel what he was saying about the Sith. I thought the Sith was kind of whack. What whack means not good for some people.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might not know the slang.
You talking about the third prequel movie?
The Revenge of the Sith. Overall, it was just. I think for me, I wouldn't necessarily say it was just really dark. So dark that I
it was
expect
very
the levels of darkness.
Yeah, it was
really made me sad. It was so painful. But
it was like Harry Potter. How Harry Potter went from being cheerful and fun, and then by the fourth movie, it was like, okay, Voldemort ain't playing.
Yeah, it was super dark, but obviously they had to get dark. I think the way that they went dark was almost kind of forced. I mean, it's like we know that Darth Vader's gonna be, Anakin's gonna become Darth Vader. Like for instance, the whole I have the line? I have the high ground, and what happened to Anakin? Like whoa! And
there's an in joke with that though. There's an in joke with that. So yeah, I don't know the logistics of it, but it was something that happened. You got to go online and read about it. Yeah, it was. I think I read the article. I don't know if it was IGN or. Yeah, it was a little weird little thing that between them that they put that in the script.
So let me just do this. I'm going to talk about obviously the prequels, and let me go on to Obi-Wan because obviously Obi-Wan is supposed to be 10 years after the prequels. I personally feel that overall, I love the way Obi-Wan ended. I didn't particularly think the show was great, but the way it ended was pretty strong. I loved young Leia. I really loved young Leia a lot. I just thought she was. Even though there were certain things that was weird about her, like when she's running. I mean, you're running so slow, I can catch you so quick. I would catch you fast. But it was still cool seeing young Leia. It was just something I never considered that they would ever do that. Overall, though, I think that if we get another season, maybe they'll be able to do more with that. Because I think that I was telling you about this the other day. I think that I didn't like Obi-Wan being so weak, but I understand. I guess he's rusty. But
it's been a while.
Yeah,
he kind of lost his mojo.
Towards the end of the movie, he started, getting his swag back, his mojo back, and it was cool to see Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan's like one of my favorite characters, along with like Yoda, probably my favorite characters. So overall, it was cool. It was cool to see Hayden Christensen back. I think people shitted on him way too much in those movies. I think some of that, and I love George Lucas, but some of that wasn't Hayden Christensen's fault. He's not a bad actor. Some of that was bad writing. And I don't think he was as bad as people make him seem. So I think it was kind of a nice redemption arc for him in this Obi-Wan series, and I think you were saying that they want to have a what's that?
What happened to the kid that played young Anakin?
He went to
Alex
prison.
Lloyd something, right?
Oh, he went to prison?
Well, that's the thing. They bullied him so much throughout his youth, and he went. I'm not sure if he went to prison, but he has a mugshot out there. Like he got bullied a lot, and he never really seen him anymore. I forgot. Jake Lloyd was his name.
Yeah. He just kind of disappeared.
Star Wars fans are too cruel. These are people are actors. They're trying to make a living. Stop driving people to prison. I mean, what the hell? It's just a movie.
Yeah, and the lady, the Asian lady, she ended up taking herself off of social media because of the backlash from.
And that's going into so because I hate those new sequels. I hate them all. I really do.
But they shouldn't really.
Well, no, let's talk about her. I forgot her name, but I think that's wrong. I mean, it's like, for one thing, I think people are haters. You mad? You want to be all these Star Wars nerds. Say this in the camera. You Star Wars nerds wish you could be in Star Wars. You wish you could be in a Star Wars movie. I want to be in a Star Wars movie, but I'll work towards it. I'm an actor. I will work towards it. I'll do the work to get into a movie. You're haters. I don't remember what her name is.
Fan something, right? I can't find.
I can't think of her name, but that was wrong. And I think that a lot of people they listened to what a lot of fans were saying, and that's why you didn't really see her in the third movie, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And so, I personally, to be honest, this is just me. I didn't really like her character. I think it was kind of, but I mean, I'm not hating on her being in the movie. I just thought her character was kind of dull for me, But
Jar Jar Binks. What do you think about Jar Jar Binks?
Jar Jar Binks is trash. I don't want to talk about him too much, but I'll say this much. Let's talk about Finn. Okay, Finn is I think that they downplayed Finn towards
John
the end.
Boyega, right?
Yeah, John Boyega Finn. He should have been more prominent in the movies. I know that we talked about the other day. It had something to do with the directors and the change of direction. But he was dope in those, especially in the first one. He was dope in the
I liked him in Force Awakens.
I mean, especially him getting the lightsaber. That was wow, And I think that throughout the movies, I think one thing is that it seemed like he was trying to tell Rey, like, Rey! He was trying to tell Rey that he was Force sensitive.
Yeah. That's what the director said. He actually was going to say that.
But they just held the whole arc.
That's what he was trying. That's what he was trying to tell her, because he kept saying Rey, and then they would get interrupted. So he was trying to tell her because, I guess they're like, if you're really paying attention in the movie, there are like instances where he said something before it happened, or
if that movie went into that direction to where they really developed him more, because they really downplayed him, they really did, then I think that the movie would have been better. But go ahead.
My theory is that I had a theory about him, and it's a crazy theory. I don't think I've seen anybody else mention it, but I mean, what if he was Mace Windu's son or something like that?
I like that.
I mean,
But at the same time, he was a stormtrooper. That's the first time I think that we ever heard about the stormtroopers' origins. It's like they were like kids that were kidnapped and they were kind of raised into being the stormtroopers. That was like the origin.
I thought they were all clones. That's what I thought they were.
Who knew what they were until then? And then, remember the whole going back to the controversy of black stormtrooper, N-word, like yo. I gotta say this. Fuck all you racists. Anyway. So, no, because it's bullshit. Come on, man. You're haters. You want to be fan. You wish you could be in the movie, haters. I gotta say that because I don't appreciate. I think racism is retarded. I probably shouldn't say that. Racism is ridiculous. Edit that out. Racism is ridiculous.
I agree with that.
How do you feel about a reboot of the Star Wars, the whole Star Wars, rebooting it?
Well, let me say this. I have to say this because there's the other series. I think The Mandalorian was phenomenal. Both seasons. I love The Mandalorian. I hate the Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was terrible. But there was 2 good episodes of Book of Boba Fett. There was one episode that was basically an episode of The Mandalorian when we get Mando back. And it's a whole thing. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it.
Is it a crossover episode?
Because Boba Fett was in The Mandalorian season 2. So that's where we first,
He was?
Sorry to spoil that, but it's I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay,
Mandalorian is dope.
I mean, I liked it. I think the last thing I remember is I stopped watching it right around the time when they got rid of Gina, or whatever her name is. They had a big controversy with her.
Well, she was on the whole show. It's just there was some stuff that happened. They just decided not to renew her contract and not bring her back.
Something that pissed people off.
It was some political stuff. I mean, I think that they need to stop attacking people for their own viewpoints because she's dope in that show.
You gotta separate the artist from the artist. That's what they always say.
It's not like she really said nothing. She just disagreed. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was some kind of Trump thing. I don't know. But politics messes stuff up for us nerds who want to see the dope character. She was dope.
Yeah, she was.
She was gangster. She was buff. But she's sexy, thick buff.
I liked her character. I liked her character.
I mean, but Mandalorian I think is really dope. What was your question you asked earlier? You said something
Oh,
about
about if
a
they
reboot?
if they rebooted Star Wars completely.
I would love for them to completely just devoid, like just null and void those 3 movies. Those
Well, if they reboot, then they would be doing that.
exactly. I'd love that. I just let's make it seem like they never happened.
What are your thoughts when you got that look on your face again?
Well,
You got that look like, I mean, a Star Wars reboot?
I guess that's fine.
You don't give a damn.
I mean, would it involve George Lucas or not let him be involved? Or, I mean, you don't...
Well,
let's
get it before he passed away. No disrespect, I love you, Lucas, but he kind of sluggish.
He is not sluggish.
No, he don't. Listen, Lucas.
He kind of went off the rails.
George Lucas, I love you. You helped inspire my childhood, but I know you too rich. You don't want to do this shit. He's rich. That's why he sold it. That's why he sold